Alright, we're upstairs. We're working on our 1 gauge track that we're making. We're hand manufacturing it for the elevated, so I can run both 1 gauge and O gauge on the top of the elevated. And we've manufactured most of the track. Now we're getting to the point where we're making sure that the footprint is going to work with the layout. And this is what I've done so far. This is regular 1 gauge track, pre-war Bing, and what I find amazing is when I put the calipers on it, it only measures 1.68 to 1.69. That's narrow. 1 gauge is 1.75. By taking standard gauge track, and this is what this is, popping off a rail and bending up the inside tabs, and then taking the rail and setting it on top of them, you get a measurement of 1.75. I also went to a machine shop that my friend owns, and I had him machine me out of solid aluminum a gauge, a 1 gauge gauge that from the inside to the inside rail head measures 1.75. I then go ahead and I put, this is a short section, I put the rails on the inside tabs, slide them down on top. They're a good friction fit. I then solder them. You don't have to, but I would suggest that if you're going to pull the track apart and work with it all the time, you better, because the rails pop up. Also, the rail might, I know it does, it pops up sometimes when the train is going over it, and it makes it wobble to one side or the other, or you lose contact with the center rail. Now, this literally mics at 1.75, 1.74, 1.73, depending on where you're at. And with it being soldered, you can make it, you can lightly spread it if you want to at least 1.75. I would rather have it overgauged than undergauged. And as you can see, my gauge fits on it absolutely perfectly. And I can slide that up and down the rail to see whether or not my distance is right. I've taken and soldered them on the inside there, and I've soldered them on the flange there. You've got to grind the blue off. The solder will not stick to the blued. And I'm now using an American Beauty resistance soldering iron, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm learning. There's a lot of tricks to the trade, but it gets hot super quick. I also find that your work needs to be cleaned, very clean, and it needs to be fluxed. So I'm getting better and better and better at the soldering. This is only my first 2 or 3 pieces of small rail, and I think by the time it's all said and done, like we've got with this one, you can see the fillet of solder that I've got there on that side. And that is a cold solder. That I will redo that. It's because it wasn't cleaned good enough. It just beaded up. It's holding the rail on, but not like it should be. So this is where we're going with the 1 gauge, and I'll take you downstairs and show you what the footprint is supposed to be like. I got it laid out on my living room floor. Let's head downstairs, shall we?